Good evening, everyone, to the F1 2017 AOR Hype Energy F2 League on the PC Season 15, round number 8, the Belgian Grand Prix. My name is Thompson, and joining me in the commentary box for tonight's race is Julio Massa. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Alright, I am very excited for this race because first things first, let's have a look at the standings, and as a close observer you'll quickly see that we have a very tight battle at the front for the championship with nobody, Gurks, Vadkan and Slick all within 9 points, and considering is the halfway point of the season, it means that the following races are getting more and more important.
Yes, indeed. We've had also 5 different winners in 7 races of the season. Our championship leader, nobody didn't win a race since round number 3 of the season. So it's getting pretty tight here. You can say that.
Yes, indeed it is, and I think, if I see correctly, all the championship contenders are in the lobby, and as I say that, the lobby gets underway. Nevertheless, we want to take some time and have a look at today's track, which is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, which consists of 19 turns and is about 7 kilometers long. That is the longest track on the F1 calendar, and it's an extreme high-speed track with good overtaking opportunities. And considering the last races we've had and how close everything is, I think we're in for a crack of a race tonight.
Oh yes, indeed. We've had 4-way battle for the win during the Hungarian Grand Prix last week, and we might have a very good battle yet again here, considering how equal the level here is.
Yes, I absolutely agree, and it looks like everything has loaded through, so let's get into things and go to qualifying.
You can tell straight away it's a beautiful weather. It's not, of course, very common here in Spa. The weather changes quite a lot during the weekend, but at least for qualifying we have
Yes, indeed. And now the question is, who is the first one to go out onto the track? And looks like Slick is getting ready. And I can see a Renault that one out before him due to the fact that the Renault is closer to the pit exit. Would that be Ake? Yes, it is. Although it is the longest track, so should be alright to find the gap, unlike the Real World Monaco race we had last weekend. That was a bit more difficult to find your spot on the track.
Of course, you'd really like to go out as early as possible because the warm-up lap is quite long here. So one qualifying round should take up around 6 minutes to do a out lap, then the quali lap, and then the in lap. So you don't have much flexibility around the circuit.
No, you only really get to do 2 runs, maybe one with 2 laps, but that is about it. Down to the nature of the track, how long it is.
Yeah, and if you make a mistake on your lap, you basically are under pressure of during the second run, and if you make a mistake there, you're way down in 17. Maybe with some luck, you're a little bit higher. Let's see who is on the flying lap.
Ake has just started his flying lap. Now coming
Okay.
down to Eau Rouge. One of the most exciting corners in F1. Going up the hill with more than 300 Ks.
It's also spectacular when you see those cars flying now through Eau Rouge and then Radio at the top of the hill. Let's see. Mr. Anka is starting his flying lap, as I can see. Also Gerks. Gerks, who is second in the championship. He moved up a few places after brilliant results in Great Britain and in Hungary.
Yes, and now championship leader Nobody also started his flying lap as he goes round La Source. And by the way, just a small shout out to Mr. Ghost for that small advice there. There was something mixed up and it's fixed now. Thank you very much.
Good to know. I think Ake will be the first one who finishes flying lap. Ake is now going through Blanchimont, turns 16 and 17. Sharp left-hander, taken flat out, of course, before braking to the bus stop chicane, or what used to be a bus stop chicane before the circuit got renovated in 2006. And now on the start-finish straight, so we'll see the first time 143.8. And now we're waiting for others. Slick with 143.3. Elsani now coming. And that's 143.6. So we might get quite spread out field after the qualifying session due to the length of the circuit.
And Vadkan with provisional pole at the moment as he has a bit of oversteer coming out of La Source. Smashed very closely behind in second, also with a 143.2.
Yeah, and Gerk's now coming to the top.
And it looks like, as usual, we're going to have a tight battle at the front.
Yeah, now Nobody, only with fifth time, 143.4.
That is definitely not what he was hoping for. After the first few races, it looked as as if it might be a easy season for him. But things have changed, and his opponents have stepped up their game, and now he has to fight to be at the top, which is exactly what we want.
Oh yes, indeed. We want to see close fight at the top, and especially with that shorter season, only 15 races, it's going to be even tougher and even more exciting coming to the next races. Who has not finished the laps? I think Suob is the final guy who will cross the line, or maybe I'm totally wrong here.
Yeah, looks like it. He is coming down to the bus stop now.
Yeah.
Bit of a lock up there, and he is going into the pits.
Okay. And that was what I was saying. We still have guys on their in laps, and it's 5.5 minutes to go. So basically, what they have to do is just quickly refuel their cars, change the tires, and go out as quickly as possible. Of course, considering, of course, you have to still consider finding a free spot on the track. But
And everybody into the pits now.
yeah, and after the first attempt, it's Gerks on pole with a 143 flat in that Haas. Slick in P2, Vatkan in P3, Smash in P4, and Nobody rounding up the top 5.
Yeah, so all our drivers we were expecting to see up there are again up there and duking out for pole position. The only one who is a bit behind is actually the championship leader, Nobody. So maybe just a banker lap or a small mistake in there, and he will definitely try and up his game, because the four in front of him are very tightly packed.
Yeah, and also it's very worth noting that we actually have top 5 in the championship on those top 5 spots. As you've said, of course, Nobody some way behind, but still he is in that P5. And incidentally, all of those 5 guys are race winners this season, because Smash won last time out in Hungary.
And Slick, by the way, is crawling back to the pits because he's out of fuel.
And this is not what you want to expect during that qualifying session.
No, definitely not. And who's that? That's Mr. Anchor. He's the first one to go out in his Williams to go for a second run and try to improve his lap time. Currently in P9.
Yeah, the track should get a little bit busier, well, a lot busier coming to those final minutes. Suobis, Siniak, and Skady don't have lap time, so Siniak is Ian Barstein.
Yeah, he changed his name.
Yeah, I'm stuck with Siniak, but
yeah,
maybe
I'll try. I try to call him Ian from now.
Yeah. So Ian, Skady, and Suobis don't have lap times, so they need to get one right. Mr. Amka coming down to the bus stop chicane, and he will be the first one who will start his final flying lap.
Though looking at the time, if he doesn't do a mistake in this lap, he has enough time to do a second run.
The question is, does he have enough fuel on board?
3.6 laps should do the trick.
Yeah.
And that was... no, it was not Matthias, it was his teammate. I nameless who came out of the pits there. And Smash is now coming around the bus stop. He also has enough time to do 2 laps in theory. Although he doesn't have enough fuel to do that.
Matthias has just come around the start-finish straight as he starts his final flying lap, and he goes sideways out of Las Horst. And what is the problem? He won't have time to improve his attempt after this one. Alsoni also on the flying lap. Ake has just started it. Who else?
And now
Ian?
Gerks is coming around the final corner to start his last flying lap, when I think Vadkin is the car behind him. And then it should be Slick and Nobody who will start their flying laps.
You're right. Yellow flag in sector 3, and that's Suobis out of session. So the Renault driver has not set any lap time in this session. So he will start quite some way off the front. Now, Ian and Skady will finish their flying laps in just a few seconds time. Skady is now coming around the final chicane. Just the left-hander to negotiate. The power needs to be put down easily, and
Smash sets a new fastest lap time of the 1:42.8 and retires from the session, so he won't improve. Where are the other drivers? I think Gerks was next on track. He's just coming round into the 3rd sector, and unfortunately I don't get a split delta, so we'll have to wait and see till the line whether he can improve or not.
the question is, does he have enough fuel? Because I don't think. Well, he has a little fuel on board. If he makes it, he will make it only just. He's going around the final chicane. Ian has retired from the session. And now, is it Smash or Garrix on pole? And it's
Oh,
Garrix
that's so
on pole.
close. Gerks also with a 42.8. Where are the other drivers? I think Vatkin should be next. There he is coming into the bus stop. And it's a 142.818 he has to beat. Can he do though? Matthias in 5th meanwhile. No. Vatkin stays in P4. Where are Slick and Nobody? Nobody now coming into the last chicane as well. And he is in P6. That's definitely not where he wants to be. He runs a little bit wide on the second part of the chicane and improves only to P4 with a 143.3. Now Slick also now coming across the line. Can he challenge Gerks for pole? Yes, he can! Yes. A 142.705. That is a fantastic lap from Slick there, which puts him P1 in his Mercedes, and I think that is nearly everyone through is. And there we have it.
Nameless improved to P4 late in the session as well, putting the championship leader down in P5, and Skatey was the last one to cross the finish line in P8.
Yes, so Subers and Ian didn't set it at a time, and the rest of the field, as usual, very closely packed, with Slick coming out on top in front of Gerks and Smash, and Nobody to the championship leader only in P5.
Yeah, and Vatkin in P6. He didn't improve on his final attempt, and 2 drivers have been quicker than him. So he will start from the 3rd row. I'm sorry?
Yeah, we all know that intro. And I'm just going to have a quick cheeky sip before the start of the race.
Get ready, you have some 20, maybe 30 seconds before the start of the race.
And again, a dry session. Although we don't know whether that is going to change, although the drivers do know.
But they won't tell us. 20 seconds to go as the tension rises on the grid for the round 8 of the season 15 of Apex Online Racing Formula 2 on PC. Just 5 seconds to go.
And the drivers are now starting to feel the sweat as we have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away they go. Looks like everybody got to a fairly decent start, although the Haas had a bit of oversteer. Slick going right to the outside to block off any attacks. And that is the Haas round. That is Gerks, who has spun off La Source. Couldn't see if there was any contact there. But that will definitely not be what he wanted to challenge for that championship lead. Now it's Slick in front of Nameless, Nobody and Vatkin charging down the Kemmel Straight.
Great start by
I'm just going to have a look if Gerks has any damage.
I don't think so, but it was a great start by Nameless. Going from P4 up to P2, just behind the leaders. Skatey had a great start, but he was pushed in turn 7. Smeech is trying to go down the inside in turn 8, pushing Matthias, and I think that was Skatey.
Oh, that's Skatey into a spin, and the Red Bull and the Renault crash into him, and into the wall they go. That is Skatey and Ake who came together there, and Assassin just managed to go around them as they stood there in the middle of the track.
I don't know if you have the same feeling, but this is the first time in this season we've had so many collisions on the first lap.
And Signac has run very wide. He seemed to be involved in that incident as well, as he is missing half of his front wing. So usually we have very clean... Oh, and that is Ian into the gravel now. And what I wanted to say, usually we have pretty clean starts, but this definitely wasn't today.
Yeah, and even though Gerks was pointing the wrong direction just after last source, he's now up to P12. So with his good pace, he might come back in a very good position. He's just behind Suobis now, and he will surely chase down that Renault. There is, of course, a tire difference between them. Gerks is on ultra softs, and Suobis is on softs. So possibly, maybe down to Lake Com, the Haas will be in front of the Renault. And now we have a fight between McLarens, Smash and Vatkan. Vatkan goes defensive into
and Suobis
Lake
pushed Gerks in the wall there. Sorry to interrupt. As Gerks tried to go around the outside, and Suobis noticed that was a mistake and let him pass coming into Le Com.
Yeah. We still have fight between the McLarens, and it's Smash now up to P4, going. I think it was down the inside in turn 8, but yeah, it's a lot crazier than it used to be this season, and all that. We didn't mention our championship leader, but he's been clean, and he has gained 2 positions right now. He's 1.2 seconds behind iNameless. Slick is not that quick in front. I mean, he's quicker than iNameless, but this top 3 may fight between each other later on. And we now have Smeech fighting with Vatkan for P5. Will the Mercedes driver try to outbrake the McLaren and go round the outside, which will be the inside for turn 19? And the Mercedes is still behind, but he will now have the inside going into last source. Our Indy 500, or maybe Indy 250 winner from yesterday is still behind Vatkan now.
Yes, and you also have to look in his mirrors now as Matthias is showing up there in his Ferrari, and will try to get into this battle. But now Smeej again having a look against Vatkan. They're going side by side, coming down into the cone, and it looks like the Mercedes is going to be on top this time.
Yeah, the DRS made the difference here, of course, on the Camel straight, as it's the big advantage. This straight is so quick that having the DRS is a big help. But now Matthias just behind them. So we've said it earlier at the during the intro part of this stream that this track will that we will have some close racing today, and we certainly have it. Now Matthias is just behind Vatkan, going out of Pouhon, but there isn't much space to attack the McLaren. Maybe down into bus stop chicane, that will be a good overtaking opportunity. And talking about overtaking opportunity, and our comeback driver Gerks is now 4 tenths behind Johnny John. And will the Haas be in top 10 just in few corners time? Going down into the chicane. Will he try to attack in the chicane? Or wait, no, he's on the ground. And I'm sorry for that. He's still behind. But he will have the DRS going into last source. And if he doesn't use it, he will of course have this beautiful long straight. The downhill part going into Eau Rouge and Radio, and then over the top of the hill, the Camel straight, also a beautiful stripe of asphalt there.
Yes, now Gerks is very close to Johnny John in front. Is he going to be able to go around the outside without being pushed into the wall like last time? And it looks like he can. And a bit of sideways action there in the first part of Le Com. But it looks like Gerks can stay ahead. You can see he's struggling a bit for rear tyres at the moment, but that is due to the fact how much he has to attack now to make his way back through the field.
Vatkan is still ahead of Matthias, but all that fighting is letting AOR Apex to close the two down. So we might have another train formed in just a few corners time. And look, I'm sorry, AOR Apex is just behind them. He's on slower tires, but also on the tires that are not used too much right now.
Yeah, it looks like for some drivers who have been very rough to their ultra softs, they're trying to, starting to lose pace here after just 4 laps of running. And Vadkan is known for being one who likes to destroy his tires quite quickly, as he has a bit of a failed braking there coming into the bus stop. And now Matthias is all over him, but messed it up due to a bit of oversteer coming out of the last corner, and has to stick in behind that. And again, you can see how much Vadkan gets sideways there, and that is absolutely going to eat up his rear tyre. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the pits after this lap.
Gerx is in the pit lane, by the way, and up front, Smash is having the DRS. He's fighting with nobody for P3. Matthias has overtaken Vadkan, and will AOR Apex know he can't do that in Lacombe? But now Matthias slows down Vadkan. Will Apex try to go around the outside of R7? No, but he maybe will try to stick it down the inside, internate this understeery right-hander, but he's still behind the McLaren. Let's see what tires has Gerx put on. He's on super softs in P13. Comeback drive on his hands.
Yeah, and as we can see, Vadkan is struggling more and more, so it might have been a mistake to do this extra lap, as he has already lost a position and is under pressure to lose another one.
Yeah, but remember that his teammate Smash is in front, and he in theory should get the better strategy. He should be, in theory, the first one to pit, but maybe, I don't know.
That was a very close call from AOR Apex, coming into the third sector there. He nearly hit the wall on the outside of that very fast right-hander, but it looks like no harm was done there. But that was indeed a very close call.
Are in the pit lane. Top 4 of the race are in the pit lane. Nameless came into the pits. He's putting on super soft tires. Smash is going on, let's see, super softs. No, softs, I think. Who else was here? Let's see. Johnny John got a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Smash is on softs. Nobody is on softs. Slick is on softs.
And am I seeing that right? That Nameless actually came out on top in that pit stop cycle.
Yes, you're right. He's got the lead.
Yeah, so he must have jumped Slick there in the pits. Although you can see he's struggling a bit to get those tyres up to temperature, and is battling with Assassin, who hasn't stopped yet and is on the super soft tyres with Slick right behind them.
All that fighting left Smeej up front, but he's also struggling with his tires, going a little bit sideways, entering Pouon. Matthias in P2, AOR Apex in P3, Vadkan in P4, Mr. Anka in P5. Mr. Anka probably will be in the lead after that lap, as the top 4 will pit, or maybe not, because I forgot that AOR Apex is on super softs, not ultra softs, which are probably hitting the cliff right now. After Nameless defended from Assassin, he's now building quite a healthy lead over Slick, who still hasn't overtaken the Williams. And as I'm saying that, the Williams lets Mercedes past in Blanchimont. Let's see who is in the pit lane. Matthias and Vadkan have came. Smeej has stayed out. AOR Apex, of course, has stayed out as well. And Mr. Anka, who is on soft, has started on softs, is also staying out. So that is, I'm Nameless now up into P4, Slick in P5, and Assassin in P6.
And look how much time Vadkan has lost after that pit stop. Whoa, I see he has a big moment of oversteer coming out of the pits. So it looks as if he's trying to continue this stint, as he has ended the last one with killing his rear tires, it seems.
Well, that was just going out in style, you know, doing a burnout to get the tires up to the right temperature as quickly as you possibly can to try and chase down Matthias, who was had a little bit smaller gap over Vatkan. At least it looked like in the pit lane after making their pit stops, but of course that sideways action coming out of the pit lane meant Vatkan lost a little bit of time. Apex going down in P3, so he's been overtaken by Mr. Anka, and I may be wrong, but the Toro Rosso seems to start struggling a little bit now. And Smeech still looks quite comfortable in front on those quite old Ultra Softs.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see where everybody will pan out, because we had quite a few battles before the pit stops, and that might shuffle around a bit after the first round. We can see Smeech, Mr. Anker. No, sorry, Smeech is actually one of who's coming in from those three, and he did 8 laps on that ultra soft tires, which is quite a stretch, but he should have very nice soft tires towards the end of the race.
And Slick has set the fastest lap of the race on new soft tires after he's gone past Assassin. He's trying to chase down Nameless. He will have the DRS on Camel Straight, as far as I'm aware. He's just 9/10 behind the Ferrari, so this DRS will be a big help for the Mercedes driver. We will have a fight for the win, at least it looks like right now. It's still lap 8 out of 22, but it seems to set up nicely.
Yeah, the Nameless is not really one I've had on my list before this race. He is not in the top 5 in the championship at the moment, if I remember correctly. But
he is not.
But yeah, if he can stay in front of Slick, obviously that would mean his first win, and he would move up quite a bit.
Maybe he wasn't he didn't win any race, but he was 2nd in Silverstone and 4th in Hungary, so he's had quite good last 2 races. You know, you can't forget that. So he's going for that. He's going to extend probably that top 5 finishing streak today in Spa-Francorchamps. Meanwhile, Smeech has rejoined behind Matthias, but ahead of Vatkan. I don't remember if that was the running order of those 3 guys or something has really changed, but I think it stayed more or less the same.
AOR Apex into the pits now, and he should be collecting a fresh set of soft tires.
Yes, indeed. We have quite a nice train now fighting for P6, because Suobis is staying out. There, Matthias in P7, Smeech in P8, Vatkan in P9, and Garrix is already in P10, 1.2 seconds behind Vatkan. So can the Haas driver overtake all those guys here and all of a sudden come back to P6?
Yeah,
it is possible, because
Subis is under pressure now from Matthias, and that was a very easy move for him, because Subis obviously on those old soft tires that he started on, and he will have to do a few more laps now. And now Smeech was having a little look there, but wasn't really close enough coming into this downhill section. So he'll have to tuck in behind for the moment and try next time, as they now come down to Pouan, a very fast left-hander. Not even the slightest lift in qualifying. Obviously, it's a bit of braking now for Subis, who's in those very worn tyres, and it looks like he might now lose that position. No, he doesn't. He keeps fighting for now, although I'm not very sure if that is the smartest strategy for him to lose that time by battling that much, because he is on a very different race than the guys behind him are. And you can see he's losing the back end now into the gravel and nearly into the wall there on corner exit, and that has dropped him back to P10 behind Gerks.
And look at Gerks. He's just behind Vatkan and Smeech, so he may gain on that fight. He may gain on that Suobis holding the McLaren and Mercedes up. He may, in a matter of few corners, Gerks might be up into P7 after pointing the wrong direction in first corner of the race. It'll be a great comeback, and it still won't be the end of it, I'm pretty much sure.
Yeah, now they're coming through Eau Rouge and Radillon, and Gerks is right behind those two who are squabbling. So is he going to try and join the fight? Yes, he is. Smeej is being attacked around the inside and around the outside, and it's 3 wide coming into Le Commis, and there's contact between Vatkin and Gerks. And yeah, Gerks lost a huge part of his front wing, as it seems.
No.
And he's back behind those two. And it looks like Smeej is having somewhat connection issues, at least on my screen. And for now, positions stay unchanged.
Meanwhile, at the top, Mr. Anka has been closed down by iNameless and Slick. He has been overtaken now, but all that fighting led to Slick going down to just 4/10 behind iNameless. He's also close, and he will have the DRS on that camel straight. He will have the DRS on start-finish straight, but it's, let's be honest, it's too short to make something happen here. So the fight for the win is truly on our hands.
Yes, and Slick is now close enough, only 3/10 coming out of Le Sources, so he should be able to try and make a move on the camel straight. But the question is, can he make it stick? How will iNameless position his car to defend? You can see he chooses the inner side there and blocks that off. So Slick has now has to go round the outside, which he tries to do. It turns to the inside and now again to the outside through this triple turn combination, and you can see iNameless could defend for that. Now Slick again trying to go down the inside, but iNameless again blocking it off, and Mr. Anker, who's on much older tyres, can hold up with those two due to all the fighting that they're doing, and they have to hurry up and figure out who wants to be and stay in front, because Smash is slowly creeping up behind them. He's only two and a bit seconds behind there in P4, virtual P3, considering Mr. Anker has still a stop to do.
A great defending skills shown by iNameless in the late com section, but now, well, he's 6/10 up on Slick going into third sector, so will the Ferrari driver have some breathing space for 1, maybe 2 laps? Or maybe Slick will come up with some incredible overtaking maneuver, go past the Ferrari and start building his own lead. Lap number 12 starts now. Smash is just behind them, 2 seconds more or less behind the leading duo. 4/10 as we exit the long straight now, going through Eau Rouge and Radio. 3/10, if I'm correct? Yes, 3.5 tenths between them. DRS wide open in the Mercedes. Big, of course, big differential, but look, will he try to go down the inside? iNameless didn't cover the inside, but nothing happened here, at least right now. Going through turn 7 now, into turn 8. Will Slick try to surprise? No, he doesn't surprise iNameless going to turn 8. So probably we have another lap of this duel on our hands. And Smash is just...
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say, is Smash actually caught up to Mr. Anker. Now Assassin loses another spot there, so he's struggling at the moment. He already lost 2 positions now on this lap. Yeah, as I wanted to say, Smash has caught up to Mr. Anker and will try to get past him as quickly as possible, so he can continue to close up to the top 2 who are battling for the lead quite fiercely. as they now come towards the bus stop chicane, which will be another opportunity for Slick to try and make a move. He's now very close, but Inemus blocks off the inside, as he usually does. Slick tries to go around the outside, nevertheless, looks clean so far. And they're side by side, they're coming out of the bus stop, although Inemus is ahead now, only one car length. Now Inemus is on the outside, Slick on the inside for a change, and makes that move into La Source. Now can he get the better traction out of the hairpin, because Inemus is now right behind him, and will have the opportunity to get that position back right away. You can see it did a little lift coming into Eau Rouge there to not run over Slick, and now Inemus will go around the outside and try to get that first position back, and yes, he does, coming into Le Cong, and that is Inemus back into P1 and Slick's efforts nullified.
And that wasn't the best decision taken by Slick. He could have waited for that second straight and could have extended the gap here, because he clearly has better pace through the second and third sector. And because he didn't do that, he didn't have the DRS, he let Inemus go past him on that longest camel straight going into turn 5. He still sits behind the Ferrari and lets Smash to close down. And we remember what happened last time out in Hungary. These two were in that huge fight for the win, and both of them didn't win. It was Smash who came out on top then.
And it looks like we have a similar situation on hand, as we have yellow flags in Sector 2, although I can't see
That's
what that
Sonny.
was. That is El Sonny, who went off track and lost a few positions.
But I think I have bad news from Garrix, because he's in P14 right now, and he seems to have lost quite a lot of pace now. So this is bad news for him. Mr. Anka in the pit lane meanwhile.
And Mr. Anka now coming to his pit stop after 14 laps, and it's going to be a fresh set of super soft tyres for the Williams. And he's gonna drop out of the pits around P9.
And Slick has the DRS on the camel straight. He has to go around the outside because Inemus is covering the inside line, and the Mercedes is in front. Now, will he stay there? I think he will, because he has pace advantage. I don't think Inemus will try to go down the inside into turn 8. And now, will Slick start to build the lead? Or will actually Inemus stay just behind him and the fight will continue? Also Smash is now only half a second behind Inemus, so the top 3 covered by a second. What a great fight.
Yeah, now Smash is in the position he was in last week's race, catching up to the leaders, and can he do another overtake for the lead in the last few laps as he did last week for a second win in this championship for him? We remember he came up from F5, so incredible development for Smash there, and it is looking like he might be close enough now towards Inemus, coming towards the bus stop. He's having a small look, but he's not yet 100% close enough, although we have obviously the short DRS straight coming up, and then the long camel straight shortly after. So we'll have to wait and see who will come out on top of this 3 drivers here at the front. As we can see, Inemus had a bad run there out of La Source, a bit oversteer coming out of the corner, and you can see Smash now only 2 tenths behind, although Inemus has the bonus that he got DRS off Slick there, so he's not that vulnerable. But Smash is always ready for the surprises. You can see Inemus gets a very bad run here through Le Com, but it looks like he can prevail at the moment, as Alsoni gets a 5-second stop and go penalty for exceeding track limits.
Yeah, I have a feeling that actually Smash may have the best tires and the best pace at the moment, as if he can go past I Nameless, my feeling will be verified, but he might have the chance for the win. Lap 15 out of 22, so still 7 laps to go after that one.
Yeah, but we can see every sector that Smash is behind I Nameless, he is losing time. Slick already with 1.5 seconds of his advantage, and Smash will have to try and get past I Nameless as quickly as possible if he wants to challenge for the lead today.
Yes, no doubt about that. I mean, I Nameless seems to maybe have the least pace out of the top 3 right now, and maybe even the most worn tires. So look now, 3 tenths between Smash and I Nameless. This time the Ferrari driver doesn't have the DRS, so he should be an easier rival for Smash. But will that actually turn out to be true? AOR Apex with a penalty. Garrix, we also didn't say that. Garrix had the fastest lap of the race. He's now up to P11, but it doesn't really matter now. It matters what Smash will do on the Camel Straight. DRS wide open in the McLaren. Does the Ferrari go defensive? Yes, he goes defensive, but will Smash go around the outside? Can he do it? He is on the inside. He's now on the outside. Now turn 7, still on the outside. Can he hang on there? He is there. But now turn 8. I Nameless will have the inside. Smash will have the outside. And the McLaren sticks his nose in turn 9, but he is still behind the Ferrari. Going down the hill into Pouhon. Too wide. It's very tricky to go here, but he is up into P2. But look, I Nameless going round the outside. He's still there. They're going side by side for so long, and it's finally Smash who has overtaken I Nameless. But look at the gap now Smash has to Slick.
Yeah, that was a great overtaking effort there from Smash. He really fought for that for a whole sector, but now he has to watch out that he doesn't lose that position straight away, as I Nameless is now right behind him coming into the bus stop. And all of that battling has obviously helped Slick, who has now pulled out a gap of 4 seconds, and that's not really what Smash wanted. Obviously wanted to get past I Nameless, but with a move that cost less time than what it did to go a whole sector side by side like those two did. I know it's going to be incredibly difficult for Smash to win this race and close down Slick, who we can see there in the distance has already gone up Rouge and Radion.
It was great for us, but certainly Smash lost a lot of time. And now, can the Ferrari find a revenge? Going into turn 5, he is on the outside, and will he try to go around the outside here? He will have the inside in turn 6, and now McLaren will have the inside in turn 7. He is just behind the Ferrari. Can now McLaren go down the inside, defend his position? Ferrari is behind. And all that fighting led nobody to close down them quite significantly. He's only 7 tenths behind them. So the championship leader is probably smiling seeing those two fighting that hard.
He'll try to get into that battle as quickly as possible. And meanwhile, Slick now has 5.5 seconds lead to Smash in second. So Slick probably will already try to go in consistency mode and just try to bring that win home.
This may have been race critical, what Slick has done. I'm looking at the championship standings, and right now it might be Slick who will be the championship leader if nobody stays in P4 and if Slick wins this race. So this may be even championship critical, but his gap, his advantage over nobody after that race would be 4 points if my math is right.
You can see Smash now trying to pull a gap to I Nameless behind before nobody catches up to those two and makes it a three-way battle. And Mr. Anchor and AOR Apex there battling coming into the con. And Mr. Anchor has re-overtaken AOR Apex for P8.
Well, Mr. Anchor has new super soft tires, so he might even close down on Vatican later on in the race, but he has only 4.5 laps to go. It's incredible how quickly has the race gone. Suobiz is out of the race, went in the pit lane and retired.
Yeah, back in P17, there was nothing to win for him today.
Yeah, it was all over after qualifying, to be fair. He lost there everything. Nameless 9/10 behind Smash. Can the Ferrari driver find the last bit of space in his tires? And can he close down on the McLaren yet again and fight him yet again? Because nobody seems to be out of that fight, unless the two in front start fighting that hard again.
And it looks like everybody from P2 downwards is out of contention for the lead. Because Smash now has clean air, but he's not catching up to Slick. Slick actually is still pulling out the gap to now 5.5 seconds, so about a tenth a lap. Although he in theory could go into conservation mode and just nurse the car home and not just try and not go to the edge too much, not risk too much, and just bring it home. But he is still pulling out the gap, so he's definitely not going slowly, that is for sure. But Smash has now pulled away from my Nameless, and the front group has settled down for now.
Slick is good on fuel. As far as my telemetry is good, he's still using quite a lot of fuel. He still has that good buffer on it. And let me see his tires. They seem to be all right. So he still has some pace in the pocket. Meanwhile, Smash, well, he's also looking very good on these tires, and I'm not sure if Nameless looks that good. Not to talk about Nobody, who's probably the worst on fuel, but not on the tires for sure. Ian with a 3-second time penalty. Ian down in P16. What a poor race for him today. I'm sorry for that if you heard something wrong. It was my microphone shooting. Nothing much really happening right now, to be fair. All the fights seem to be done.
We have a small battle for P11 here. That is Johnny John and Assassin in the Sauber Guns respectively.
And they have Skady just behind them, but that's a long shot.
Yeah, but, I guess Skady is on fresher super soft tyres, so he might try and attack as well. Now the question is, Assassin close enough to Joni John? Leaves the door open. Assassin tries late braking there, but nearly outbrakes himself and runs into Joni John there. And that cost him quite a bit of time. And now Skatey has closed up to him, and now he'll also have to watch his rearview mirrors.
Meanwhile, Slick has 6 seconds advantage. Going out onto the start-finish straight, Ian getting another 3-second time penalty. Slick has exited the final chicane, and he started lap 21 out of 22.
And by the way, Nobody just received a 3-second penalty, so that has really killed his ambitions to get onto the podium today. because if I remember correctly, nobody in front has a penalty yet, but luckily for nobody, the gap behind is big enough for him to not lose position with that 3 seconds that he has now collected.
And Mr. Anka is just behind Vatkan. Mr. Anka on those fresh super soft tires. He will have the DRS going through Camel Straight now, and he will fight Vatkan for P7. Vatkan, who has lost pace today quite dramatically, and he's now down into P8. Easy move by Anka. DRS open down the inside into Lecom. As easy as you'd like.
Yeah, that was not much that Vatkan could do against that, considering Vatkan is on older and harder and slower tyres. So that was an easy piece of cake for Mr. Anka, and nothing Vatkan could do about that.
Yeah, but it's bad for Vatkan and from the championship point of view, because he was 4th on points, but he will only get 4 points at all today. And that's, well, a big blow to his championship chances, because Slick, who was also on 92 points, is set to take 25 today, starting the final lap. Is Slick.
Yeah, so 7 kilometers left for Slick here to win his, is it first or second?
He won. He must have won one race, because I think because I think out of those 5 different winners, all of them were in top 5 of the championship. So he could have won one race.
I'm just going to cheat and have a quick look.
Yeah.
He won in Bahrain.
Oh yeah, that was some time ago.
Yes, indeed it was, and he's going to be very happy about that second win, and will have 2 wins as nobody and Vatkan already have. And just having a quick look down the field, you can see there's still this battle going on for P11. Assassin has now dropped down to 13th, but Joni John and Skatey are still duking it out as Skatey tries to go down the inside of his teammate here into Lecom. They're not really fighting for anything but for the honour, and that is Johnny John, who has spun around into Assassin coming out of Lecom, and he touched the grass, and that is both of them spun into the wall and lost a huge amount of time.
And Slick, meanwhile, is going round the final corner, celebrating his second win of the season and taking the championship lead. How does that sound for the Mercedes driver? Smash in P2, I Nameless in P3, and nobody taking P4. Matthias Wohlkamp in P5, Smeej in P6, Mr. Anka in P7, and Vatkan. Oh, I'm sorry, Vatkan in P7 because Mr. Anka got a penalty. So that's Mr. Anka up to P7, Vatkan up to P7, and Mr. Anka down in P8. Gerks in P9, and AOR Apex will round up the top 10 for you today.
So we're waiting for the final drivers to come across the line. Sonny not having the best of seasons, coming home in P13, and then we have our 2 crashed drivers, Assassin and Joni John, who will now come across the finish line. And now it's only Ian who we're waiting for. And that concludes the Belgian Grand Prix of the PC Season 15 AOR Hype Energy F2 League. And we're just going to have a quick look at the standings before we get going with a few interviews. So there we have it, and we have fewer penalties than we usually have. That's my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, very clean race today.
Well, except for the start, maybe.
Oh, it was quite crazy. The craziest one by far this season. But apart from that, it was a quite an easy race. I mean, quite a clean race, maybe.
Yeah, and Slick adds 25 points to his tally, which I think puts him P1 in the championship now, because nobody only finished in P4.
Yeah, that's what I said during the race. There will be 4 points difference between them, but Slick will be on top. Unless my maths is right. It's just this problem.
Yes,
But
so we'll just wait for the drivers to get ready for their post-race interviews, and I hope we can get a few interesting people in. So who's online? Gurks is online. I Nameless is. Slick is. Smash is. So we should have enough people to talk to tonight.
oh,
And Ian says he's been so unlucky the last 3 races, and he is very unfortunate. Again today, not what he was hoping for, I'd bet. And this race hasn't changed much. It is still going to be pretty close at the top of the championship. And after this, there are 7 races to go. So not too much left to gain some points.
yeah, every race will count now. Every race will be incredibly vital for the championship. Any mistake and your championship dream might be over. Is there anyone ready for the interview?
I'm going to make them ready.
Oh, use your force.
And there they are. There they all are. So let's get them into the commentary box. There we go. Good evening. What an incredible race from everybody involved. Obviously, we want to congratulate the race leader first. So congratulations to your 2nd win. And that seemed like it was some bit of work, wasn't it?
It was definitely made a bit more difficult than it should have been, but don't take that as cocky. I definitely enjoyed that race a lot.
And obviously in the fight there were Smash and also I Nameless, and I Nameless actually in the what was effectively lead for quite a few laps. I Nameless, be honest to yourself, what was missing today to really clinch that win?
I struggled too many on the soft, so I hadn't the pace I had on the ultra soft. I think that I had the same pace at least as Slick, but yeah, I waited that his tires gone off, but then he decided to go 1 lap earlier than for me it was a plan in the box. So yeah, on the soft my pace wasn't that good, and yeah, but I had really nice fights with both of them and enjoyed it really.
Yeah, and the man that concludes our podium today is Smash, who finished a good 2nd place coming forward there, and with quite a few impressive overtakes. Are you happy with how today's race went?
I think it went pretty well. I definitely think I had a pace to win. But as I said, I was involved in quite a few nice battles, especially with Nobody and Nameless. And I have to say that battle with Nameless was quite incredible. I think we went side by side through like 6 corners or so.
I think it might even have been more, to be fair. I was
Yes.
somewhere from Lacombe down to, I think, into the 3rd sector, really. Nearly, so...
Yeah, anyway, after I passed him, I tried to close on Slick, but I think we had pretty much equal pace. So I knew it wasn't worth it to push as much as just push like hell. So I just decided to settle down for a second, make no mistakes, and bring it home.
Yeah, it definitely was an incredible overtake, I can assure you. And who I'm also gonna just steal from down there is Mr. Gerks. Good evening.
Good evening.
So Gerks, being second in the championship coming into this race, I bet today's race was not really what you were hoping for, was it?
Well, I don't know what to say. My best time was 42.8 maybe, but I lost a tenth out of the last corner, so I was angry then. And in the first corner, I was maybe too cautious, and I turned in a bit too early, and that's why Smash couldn't turn in as well. And the spin wasn't the worst part of my race, because in lap 4 I went into the pit, but I broke my wing, and the crew didn't change it, so I had to make my second stint with a damaged wing, so it ruined my whole race, I would say.
Yes, that is definitely very unfortunate, and the race was over very quickly for you indeed. Again, a great race that we saw today with a lot of incredible overtakes. And yeah, that championship up there is still very close, and at the moment it's I'd say 4-way battle, but if Smash continues the pace from the last few races, I'd bet it's going to be a 5-way battle, which is absolutely incredible.
And do I surprise you if I tell Slick is the new championship leader? Because I don't know if you're aware of that, but you actually are the new championship leader.
I was aware that it was incredibly close at the top, and I sort of did some mid-race calculations that I could be in the championship lead by the end, but I'm not gonna last long there, because I'm actually going to miss the next race in Italy, because I'm actually in Italy.
Rip.
So
no, this is bad.
But
3 points.
But well, it will all even out, I think. So
to try and keep your hopes up, the last time that a championship leader, nobody, missed out to race, although the gap was there to be overtaken in the championship, he came out on top after the race as well, without even driving it. So maybe there's a chance.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll still keep my philosophy of doing the best I can every race.
So, it's a break week coming up next weekend due to the real-life Canadian Grand Prix. But
really?
Yes, it is. But obviously the week after that is going to be the next race, which is the Italian Grand Prix, which unfortunately won't be streamed.
Oh yeah.
Cause,
I remember.
Because Julio is away, and I'm actually on my own birthday party, so I won't be able
So
to.
happy birthday in advance.
Don't do that. It's bad luck here.
Well, it's 2 weeks, so
Nah.
you will forget it into here. I mean, you will forget it.
So yeah, coming into Singapore, I'll obviously be a lot older and wiser. Cough.
Yeah. You're a wise man.
But yeah, thank you for delivering another great race, and obviously thank you, Julio, for commentating with me today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me as always.
And also a great thank you to everybody who has been watching this past hour and 11.5 minutes. And also a great shout out to our sponsors, Hype, Energy, and Elgato, who make these streams possible the way they are. And hope to seeing you next time. So that's going to be the Singapore Grand Prix in 3 weeks' time. So it's going to be a little bit of break of streaming for F2. But obviously you can check out the standings in 2 weeks' time after the Italian Grand Prix. And I wish all of you a great evening and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.